Hello, my dear students, my well wishers, and those who follow my channel regularly. Please listen to the video, tonight's video, because it is unique in nature. My today's topic is noun clause for the construction of complex sentences, complement to the verb. I already discussed with you noun clause subject to the verb and object to the verb. And now tonight's topic of discussion is noun clause complement to the verb. It is basic English, but it is very useful for advanced writing. Okay? Now my first question is, what is the meaning of complement? What do you mean by complement? Complement means that completes the meaning. Complement means that completes the meaning. Meaning of what? Meaning of the verb of the principal clause. Meaning of the verb of the principal clause. And the principal clause will generally ends with be verb. Generally ends with be verb. Let us take some examples because I don't want to make my introduction lengthy. But at the very beginning, I request all of you not to skip a single word, a single line. Follow the lecture, follow the class. I am a native speaker and welcome to my channel, an easy step to English grammar. Sukumar Boiragi. My first example is that it is what I want. It is the simplest example. Number one, it is what I want. You see that there are two finite verbs and naturally there are two clauses, is and want. Number one, it is principal clause and is completed. The meaning of is completed by what I want. What I want. So, what I want is subordinate noun clause and complement to the verb complement to the verb is in one, in clause number 1. So, if you say it is, it doesn't complete the meaning of the sentence. If you say it is what I want, the verb is being completed by a clause, and when the be verb of the principal clause is completed by a clause, you can shut your eyes and can say that it is an example of noun clause. For example, Ram is a boy, is a verb, is verb and boy is noun. It is a single word and is being completed by boy. It is a single word. But when a clause completes the meaning of the principal clause, it is noun clause. Obviously, noun clause. Now let us take another example. Let us clean the board. Number 2. The fact is that he left the village bag and baggage by night. The fact is that he left the village bag and baggage by night. You see that is the verb of the principal clause, and the meaning of is being completed by the subordinate clause. So what can I say? How can I explain it? The fact is principal clause. Okay? The fact is principal clause. Number 2, that he left the village bag and baggage by night. It is an example of noun clause because it is completing the meaning of is. Okay? So, complement to the verb is. Now let us take the third example. Because suppose I am giving you two sentences. And you have been asked to combine into a complex sentence by using noun clause and complement to the verb. For example, I should study medicine. I should study medicine for the treatment of the poor. For the treatment of the poor. It was my mother's suggestion. It was my mother's suggestion. Okay? Let us combine into a complex sentence by using noun clause and complement to the verb. My mother's suggestion was. My mother's suggestion was that I should study medicine. I should study medicine for the treatment of the poor. For the treatment of the poor. Okay? Now let us analyze the sentence. My mother's suggestion was principal clause. Was is the form of the verb. Am, is, are, was, were, and been. My mother's suggestion was principal clause that I should study medicine for the treatment of the poor. It is noun clause and complement to the verb was, because the meaning of was is being completed by a clause that is noun clause. Let us take another example. Let us another example. My question is, how the problem was solved so easily. So easily. You see, what, that, how, when, everything can be used, provided there should be the be verb at the end of the principal clause. It is acting as the object complement. It is acting as the object complement. My question is principal clause. Please follow me. Don't skip a single word or a line. My question is principal clause. You see that the principal clause ends with the be verb is. How the problem was solved so easily. It is noun clause and complement to the verb is. And complement to the verb is. Clear? What is the question, or what is my question? How the problem was solved so easily. You see, that the noun clause is acting as both object and complement. So it is object complement. However, we should not say object complement. Complement to the verb is. Let us clean the board. Number 5. Sorry. Extremely sorry. Number 5. The declaration was when the match would start. When the match would start. You see that complement to the verb may begin with when to. The declaration was principal clause. You see that the principal clause ends with was. When the match would start, it was the declaration. So, it is the noun clause complement to the verb was. Was is being explained by this clause, and it is called noun clause and complement to the verb was. Clear? Number 6. My hobby. Suppose I am giving you 2 sentences to join. A beautiful roof garden. A beautiful roof garden can be. A beautiful roof garden can be prepared. It is my hobby. A beautiful roof garden can be prepared, and it is my hobby. Then what is the hobby? Suppose you have been asked to combine the two sentences into a complex sentence by using noun clause and complement to the verb. Then how will you join? My hobby is that. My hobby is that. Sorry. My hobby is how a beautiful roof garden, how a beautiful roof garden can be prepared. Okay? My hobby is principal clause, and the principal clause ends with be verb, that is. How a beautiful roof garden can be prepared, subordinate noun clause, because it is acting as the object complement. What is the hobby? Hobby is how a beautiful roof garden can be prepared. Complement to the verb is, and it is the noun clause. Clear? Next example, and it is my last example tonight. For example, it is the last example. A tall man falls in love with a short girl.